Greetings ladies and gentlemen, Adrian here. Welcome back to the channel and to another discussion video. This one is also going to be pretty interesting because the topic that we're going to be discussing is MMORPGs that you tried to like and tried to play or tried to get into, but you just couldn't. Have you ever been in a situation where your guildmates in one MMO or your friends, your close friends, or your family members even are talking about playing this MMO and they've all gone to it and they try and tag you along, and when you try playing it just to catch up to where they are, or just playing casually, just seeing if this game is going to be your next MMO, nothing really clicked. You just couldn't get into it for whatever reason. Either you're not a fan of the gameplay, or the setting is just not your style, or the combat system just doesn't work for you. Whatever reason it may be, I want to know which MMOs are those. So I'm going to be sharing a few of mine that I can recall having that experience. And yeah, for all of you, start sharing yours in the comments section below and let's have a good discussion down there. So the first game that comes to mind for me has to be Shroud of the Avatar. And sometime last year I was creating a video playthrough series, like a first impressions about Shroud of the Avatar, right here on my channel, because I was curious to know what this game was about. I did like how it sounded on paper, especially in terms of what you could do. It was kind of open world, sandboxy, player driven towns, player driven economy, and the game was created by Lord British, aka Richard Garriott, who, the founding father of the Ultima series and everything. So I was really curious to see what Shroud of the Avatar is really. Kickstarter campaign, they raised what, $11 million? So when I jumped into the game, like the first 2 hours, I'm like, oh my god, where did that 11 million US dollars go to? As far as gameplay is concerned in Shroud of the Avatar, movement, animations, graphics, it just looked like a game that was made kind of in 2007 or even earlier than that, because it just seemed so poorly done. And the combat system really frustrated me. It had this pretty cool card combat system, the way the decks reshuffle, but the manual aiming and targeting, it just didn't feel right with the animation. It felt slow and clunky, and I just could not get into it. And when you get to some of these towns, you'll see lots of plots of housing and buildings that people have bought through one of the gazillion founders packs that are available for Shroud of the Avatar. And when you put them in, you can go visit players' house and everything, but there's just no life there. I don't know if you guys have played it or are currently playing it. You may have a different experience, because this is me recalling the memory of 2017 when I was playing it, and it just feels so empty. It just feels really, really deserted. And one of the things I felt sorely missing was any sort of sustainable PvE storyline. And at the time, February or March 2017, when I jumped in, there was like nothing there. After the tutorial, there's not much to do. So by then, if you don't have one of these founders packs or you don't buy anything, you won't have sandbox tools to play with, to kind of make your own stories with the players. And then I realized, yeah, what, this is not going to be worth it, buying the game, because the Steam launch was coming out later that year, and I just lost interest. I couldn't really, care, really. And I was playing on a visitor account as well, so that means I had a lot of restrictions. There was no PvP. But it didn't matter anyway, because I didn't see anybody PvPing out there anyway. So yeah, first game that comes to mind in that regard is Shroud of the Avatar. Now, all those videos of me jumping into Shroud, or Sota for short, is still on my channel, and I'm gonna link one of them up here so you can go watch that if you want to, and you can tell me if you guys play it how much it has changed. And I may be tempted to go back and give it a shot, but I can't promise that I'll have fun, because like I said, I've now mentioned it, it's one of those games that I tried to like, I just couldn't. Next up, Revelation Online. Now, you won't see any Revelation videos playing in the background, because all my Revelation videos have been flagged for copyright, even though it is just game capture with the in-game audio. Revelation are a bunch of greedy buggers, and they flag all my videos, so I'm not gonna give them any joy with that. I'm just gonna play something else in the background here. But yeah, Revelation was another one of those games. When I first, I think it was mid 2017 when I heard about Revelation. It was in open beta and everybody could jump in for free and check it out. I was really curious, because at the time I haven't reviewed BDO yet. I haven't jumped into ArcH. I haven't, well, I did a little bit of Terra, but not too much. And Blast is like a year away, so that was gonna be like one foot into the Asian MMO world, and I was able to see what that's all about. The thing with Revelation is, when you get in, you are just kind of swarmed by gimmicky stuff. It's like the entirety of Revelation Online, the ideas and the concepts for systems and mechanics are all pulled from other games. Like, nothing that Revelation does is original, except maybe the QTE during the cutscenes. What is QTE? QTE is quick time events, and if you've played cinematic single player games, for example, games from, oh, I forgot the developer's name. But it's basically, at certain points you gotta hit like the Q and E, to do something. So that's what QuickTime Events is. And during the tutorial itself, your character will be flying through the air, like real gimmicky, and then all of a sudden the press W, hit E, hit T comes up, and you gotta smash them, and then you'll perform all these tricks in the air. And this was during a cutscene cinematic. And I'm like, oh my god, that's so gimmicky. But beyond that, after the tutorial, I just tried following the story, even though the graphics, to be fair, they're decent, but everything looks, the polish isn't great. It looks really plasticky, and like I said, some of the systems and mechanics, it's just really gimmicky. It just didn't feel like an MMO that I thought, oh, this could be fun. So I kind of just dropped it. And yes, I removed all the Revelation videos from my channel because of that copyright, strike, so I'm not gonna give them any joy there. So Revelation will take second place for me. Third game, we're going way back now to when I was in high school, and this was for MapleStory. I'm not sure how many of you guys have actually heard of MapleStory, but MapleStory was really big in Southeast Asia, from like 2005 onwards. And in high school, a lot of my friends were playing it. I was probably playing, Neopets back in the day? A bit of RO too. And really, after school, they would all go to the cyber cafe, CCs as we call them down here, and they would all just sit down there and play their Maple, and I'd watch them, characters moving across the screen, side-scrolling type MMO. So I was dragged along one day, and I was forced to make an account and follow my friend around, and he was just dropping. I remember this vividly. He said, you're gonna need this chair because you gotta sit down in a chair and you gotta regen something. I forgot what the chair does. So he dropped the chair. And, me being me, I thought, okay, now it's in my inventory. If I want to use it, I have to drop it into the world, so I can sit on it. So I destroyed the chair by accident, and my friend was pretty pissed at me. And, I tried getting into Maple, but either I was too young at the time, or just the concept of a side-scrolling MMO just didn't do it for me. I'm all about the grandeur, big 3D MMORPG fantasy worlds, and anything other than that, I cannot play as a main MMO. So yeah, I missed out my early childhood. A lot of my friends played Maple, and they're Maple veterans. I did not have that experience, so oh well. And the last one for me, this is more of a AAA because it is an IP, it's a franchise, and this is Star Trek Online. Now, a lot of people are going to go, oh my god, he hates Star Trek. It's nothing like that. It is a cryptic game, so a lot of people can probably make that correlation, cryptic Neverwinter, cryptic Star Trek Online, but it's nothing like that. When it comes to Star Trek, the gameplay, the world, moving around in your ship and everything, getting to be the captain of your own ship and doing those space battles was actually really great. And I jumped into Star Trek sometime late 2012, I think, because Star Wars, The Old Republic was a big thing. And some of my friends that played Lotro at the time have already gone to Star Wars and subbed there, and I didn't want to sub because I was already subbed to Lotro. So for me, I thought, what, to get my kind of space sci-fi fantasy fix, the space soap opera as they call it, I thought I'll just try out Star Trek and see how it goes. As far as the story is concerned, and if you guys know me, you guys know that story and immersion are a big deal for me to buy into the world. I just couldn't get behind the characters and the story. Nothing makes sense. Even right in the academy itself, the tutorial starts you in like this Star Trek Academy, and then you got to complete that, and before you find out which ship you're going to be assigned to, and then you go out and you start questing in PvE. I just couldn't get into it. I just didn't feel it. Maybe because I'm much of a Star Wars fan, and maybe that's why I couldn't get into Trek, because I haven't watched any of the Trek shows. I haven't watched, well, I watched 2 of the Trek movies, but still, I don't have any background context or anything. So it could be that. It could be my lack of affiliation or attachment to the Star Trek universe that kind of prevented me from really liking Star Trek as an MMO world. As a game, it has systems and mechanics that I'm a big fan of. In fact, at the time, I thought that the space battle things was way better than what SWTOR could offer. SWTOR's Galaxy Starfighter stuff didn't really impress me, even though that came after the fact. So yeah, unfortunately Star Trek makes the list, and someday I will go back and I'll do a 10 reasons for that, because, you know, it's a AAA, and I'm kind of curious now. But I'm sure somebody's going to write in the comments what shows and what movies I have to, you know, watch chronologically to get into Star Trek. So by all means, feel free. So that's my list. I'm really curious to know, what about you guys? Do you have a list of games, like I said, that you tried to get into, wanted to like MMOs, but you just could not do it? You just couldn't get into it. Start sharing them in the comments section below. I'd love to read that over a cup of coffee. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Hit the like button for more MMO content. And if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to my channel for reviews, discussion videos, and live streams. All that good stuff. So, once again, I'm Adrian, and I thank you for watching. Hey, welcome to the end screen. If you've made it this far, it means you've watched the entire video, and I thank you very much for that. If you want to watch more videos, you can click the cards at the bottom here, anyone would do. And you can subscribe to my channel by hitting the big round button here to get notifications on all my latest videos. See you guys in the next video.